Ukrainian defenders continue to destroy Russia's military elite. During the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, dozens of Special Forces soldiers from the Senezh and Kubinka units, the most prestigious formations of the Russian Special Operations Forces, have been eliminated. This was reported by the I Want to Live project, unveiling a list of killed Russian soldiers. It is noted that the group was destroyed by soldiers of the 54th Separate Reconnaissance Battalion and border guards of the 105th Detachment named after Prince Volodymyr the Great. As a result of the successful operation, 6 officers of Senezh were liquidated and their bodies, weapons and equipment were captured. The Senezh and Kubinka Special Training Centers are key units of the Russian Special Operations Forces, reporting directly to the General Staff, according to I Want to Live project. Their personnel undergo meticulous selection and multi-year training and are considered the elite of the elite among Russian security agencies. As the project notes, the loss of such highly qualified fighters is particularly painful for the Kremlin. The destruction of entire groups of such specialists means not just tactical, but strategic losses, the weakening of the personnel core of the Russian special services, and the reduction of their capacity to conduct complex operations outside of Russia. The training of one such officer requires years and significant resources. The liquidation of entire groups of such specialists deals a serious blow to the personnel potential of the Russian special services. According to the project, these are not the only losses of elite Russian units in Ukraine. It is currently known about the death of at least 58 specialists from the SSO, GRU and FSB on the territory of Ukraine. Furthermore, the names of over 2,000 servicemen from the Special Purpose Brigades of the main Directorate of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces have been established, and this list will be published separately. Earlier, Kremlin-appointed head of North Ossetia, Sergei Menyelo, confirmed that Lieutenant Vasily Marzoyev, son of Russian General Lieutenant Arkady Marzoyev, was killed while fighting in the Zaporizhia region. The Senezh and Kubinka centers are key units of the Russian Special Operations Forces, reporting directly to the Russian General Staff. Their personnel undergo a rigorous selection process and train using Western programs, carrying out the most risky missions both domestically and internationally. The loss of such fighters are especially painful for the Russian Federation. Each of them is not an ordinary soldier, but a specialist who has trained for years, noted the I Want to Live project. Experts estimate that training one officer at these centers takes years and requires colossal resources. According to I Want to Live, at least 58 specialists from the Russian Special Operations Forces, GRU and FSB, were killed during the full-scale invasion of Ukrainian territory alone.
Officials have identified more than 1,000 available hotel rooms plus additional rental options in Alaska's largest city for the hundreds of people displaced to Anchorage after the remnants of a typhoon ravaged their villages earlier this month. According to Associated Press, Becky Wint-Pearson, Anchorage's municipal manager, told a news conference Tuesday that leaders are working to expedite moving people from 2 large shelters in the city to more private accommodations in line with the aims of a state-led task force formed to address housing needs for evacuees. More than 650 people were brought to Anchorage by military aircraft as part of a mass evacuation after the remnants of Typhoon Halong walloped parts of western Alaska on October 11th to 12th. The storm brought lashing, in some places, hurricane force, winds and damaging storm surge. It brought widespread devastation to the Yupik communities of Kipnuk and Kwigillingok, which saw record high water levels. About 338 people stayed Monday night at the Anchorage shelters, according to the State Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. The shelters are at a sports and events center on the University of Alaska Anchorage campus and a downtown convention hall. Wint-Pearson said it's possible more evacuees could come to Anchorage as people continue to assess their housing situations and needs. State officials have acknowledged it may not be possible for everyone to return home before winter arrives.
To date, roughly 655 people from impacted Western Alaska communities have been evacuated to Anchorage. While many are being cared for at the Alaska Airlines Center and at the Egan Center, many others are staying with family, friends, and other temporary or permanent housing options across our community. Alaskans who have had to evacuate from their communities are our new neighbors here in Anchorage. You are a part of this community, and we welcome you with open arms.
Our overnight shelter count was 338 individuals across 3 shelters, the vast majority of which are here in Anchorage, at the Egan Center and the University of Alaska Anchorage Center. Along with myself, there are 244 trained disaster responders in the operation and visitors in the community. We are constantly cognizant of what the people we are serving have gone through, and the fact that none of us can wrap our arms around the challenges that they face alone.
As noted, the total number of evacuees who joined us here in the Anchorage community currently stands at 655, and last night 338 of those evacuees were supported through one of the 2 shelters in Anchorage, 160 at the University of Alaska, and 178 at the Egan Center here downtown. I do want to reiterate that our community does have a total capacity of 850 between those 2 shelters, and we have additional capacity at the municipal recreation centers of another 400 beds. And so we really have been told that we may anticipate expecting additional evacuees, and we really stand ready with the physical capacity and facility capacity as a municipality to be able to welcome them as needed. I understand that the plans are still evolving. I was just on a call in which the Red Cross leadership indicated at this point there's no intent to make any changes to having both shelters open, but that the intent is to move as quickly in support of the state to moving people to non-congregate sheltering options, so moving them directly from where they are as opposed to having people move from one shelter to another and then potentially into a non-congregate option. Clearly, this situation is evolving every day, so we'll continue to receive updates on the plan. But as of right now, the intent is to keep both shelters open and move people directly from the shelters to a non-congregate option.